Thanks, Kristen. Good evening and welcome everyone to the council meeting for Marmarin Municipality of Marmarin Lake for Tuesday, June the 16th, 2026. And we are without a signal. Okay, I will start the meeting again. Welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Municipality of Marmarin Lake. The council meeting for Tuesday, June the 16th, 2026, and we're being streamed live. We are meeting today on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. We would also like to acknowledge the Mohawk and Algonquin nations, whose traditional and unceded territory we are gathered upon today. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Thank you. Next, need a motion that the agenda for the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmarin Lake for Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 be approved as presented. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Eric? Second, Ron? Any comments or questions? All in favor? That's carried. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Being none, next is the mayor's report for June the 16th, 2026. June the 2nd, I presided over the regular Marmarin Lake Council meeting. June the 3rd, I attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the proposed Habitat for Humanity project on the property north of the Anglican Church. Reverend Bob Wright and Jim Kerr initiated this project. Jim Kerr purchased the property from the Masonic Lodge and conveyed the land to the Anglican Diocese. Over the past couple of years, they have proceeded to have the title to the land changed to allow for Habitat for Humanity to build a double housing unit. The project is in its initial stages while permits, etc., are acquired. There was a great turnout to the event, and Councillor Daou was there. When the building that was the Masonic Lodge was closed in Marmora, Médoc, and Tweed joined. Many Masonic Lodge members and their families were present. Harmony Homes will be the contractor, and the representative spoke about the project. He commented on the project and thanked the Marmarin Lake staff for their professional and cooperative assistance in processing necessary permits. I was asked to speak on behalf of Marmarin Lake Council. I welcomed and thanked the Habitat for Humanity representatives, members of the St. Paul's Anglican Church, the Anglican Diocese, Harmony Homes, and especially Reverend Wright and Jim Kerr for bringing this opportunity to Marmora and to the families who will benefit in the jobs it will create in the community. June the 8th to the 10th, I attended as representative of the Southeast Health Unit, the annual ALPHA conference in Toronto. ALPHA stands for Association of Local Public Health Agencies. This event brings together medical officers of health, administrators, and Board of Health representatives from across Ontario. This is also their AGM. There were 4 resolutions approved. In summary, and I'll just give a brief description: smoking reduction, 2, labeling on alcohol beverage containers, 3, homelessness, and 4, mental illness. June the 12th, I had the honor of participating and joining President Cynthia Reid in the opening ceremonies for the Crow Valley Lions Jamboree. I welcomed the guests to Marmarin Lake, thanked the Lions Club for their planning and organizing this annual event. I thank the vendor sponsors and especially the volunteers who contributed their time and energy to make this a successful event and the value it brings to our municipality. I understand attendance was up, both walk-in and weekend campers. Thanks again to the Lions Club, Cynthia, and her team. June the 14th, on behalf of Mayor and Council, I have the pleasure of presenting a certificate of congratulations to Maureen O'Connor on the occasion of receiving the Archbishop Francis J. Spence Catholic Teacher of the Year Award. Maureen is a teacher at Sacred Heart of Jesus School here in Marmora, and a number of her students spoke and thanked her for being such a good teacher. She is retiring at the end of this year, and I'm sure she will be missed. June the 16th, I attended the regular Hastings County Finance, Property, and Personnel Committee meeting and Hastings Local Housing Corporation Committee meeting this morning, and this is the regular meeting of council. And just based on the clerk's report that's in the agenda regarding our councillor vacancy, I have some comments to make. The municipality of Marmora Lake acknowledges and respects the decision of former councillor Jane Lakatos to resign from council. We thank her for her service and contributions to the community during her tenure. At the same time, council categorically rejects any suggestion that it, either collectively or individually, has failed to conduct its business in accordance with applicable legislation, established procedures, or principles of good governance. Members of council are elected to serve the public and are subject to clear statutory accountability and transparency requirements. Every member of council has taken their oath of office seriously and is committed to fulfilling their responsibilities in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001 and the municipality's procedural bylaw. Council meetings, agendas, minutes, resolutions, and bylaws are matter of public record and are available through the municipality's website. Decisions are made through established legislative processes that are transparent, documented, and subject to public scrutiny. And our meetings are live streamed through YouTube. Should any member of council or member of the public have concerns regarding governance, procedure, or conduct, established accountability mechanisms exist, including complaints to the Ontario Ombudsman and the municipality's Independent Integrity Commissioner. These processes are specifically designed to ensure that concerns are reviewed fairly, objectively, and in accordance with the law. The municipality remains focused on serving residents and advancing the priorities of the community. Council stands fully behind the integrity of its decision-making processes and the professionalism, dedication, and expertise of municipal staff. As the 2026 municipal election approaches, residents are encouraged to rely on official municipal sources for information regarding election procedures, candidate requirements, and voter information. Accurate and up-to-date information is available through the municipality's Election 2026 webpage. The municipality will not be providing further comment on this matter. We don't have any delegations today, but public input. Public input is time set aside on each agenda of each regular meeting to permit anyone in attendance to speak on any issue in this agenda. Public input will be received by council only. Comments or clarification by the public or councillors are permitted. Speakers may not speak disrespectfully of any council member, staff member, or any other person and must not use offensive words or gestures. And I believe we have someone wishing to speak under public input. And that's 3 minutes. And you said just come to that desk and just make sure you turn the microphone on. And welcome.
Can you hear me? Is it on? Hello?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Chantal Sedwa and I'm the spouse of Daniel Ray Rofi. We own 45 McGregor Lane. It has been in the family since 1967. In 2017, exact date, March, I purchased out a sibling name of Alfred James Rofi and discovered that there was a gross manifest error done by the Marmora Lake Township. Brought it to their attention. Her name was Tanya Bennett.
It's not coming through on the YouTube.
Did you hear that, Kristen? Sorry, is there, you wanna? Oh, okay, continue on, sorry.
So that being said, I contacted again your office in November of 2024, stating that the address of 35 Brenda Lane is not local law, and we do not own any. And we are paying property taxes for over 20 years for 10 acres of what? Overseas of tax. I contacted MPAC. MPAC said that the township of Marmot never provided the service, which was directed by the Marmot Town. This, the exact measurement of the property was provided in 2017. Again, the gross manifest error was never corrected. So now we are here to fly overpaid taxes for over 20 years of property. 20 years is a road thing. I'm not looking to have some years, but I'm looking to the draft retention in 2017, which the amount is not a little amount of $1,160. It's actually $5,437 of taxes paid for something I don't know. The increase we're here today, that is funding correct. I have a wonderful neighbor that provides me with secure tax. And it shows that their tax roll number registered to the first property number, not 35 in regulation, which they currently always get in. That is Dave and Julie Palmer, who own 7 acres. We own 2.59. Somewhere around about 2. Your office is calculated by MPAC. Your office that changed our number from 45 to 35. This gross manifest error made me subsequently, me and my family have to struggle with overpaid property taxes for a property. That is it. If you have any questions, I have all the documentation.
Does anyone have any questions? Go ahead, Eric.
Just for clarification, can you re-explain your correspondence with MPAC when you spoke to them about your property valuation?
So I spoke to them in November of 2024. And they had an update in 2025, right? And it's been delayed, and the paperwork was just received a week ago by our office. So whatever impact or a private entity company, they didn't update it for when they acknowledged the error because they couldn't update. And my understanding impact is very clear that the fee for the address we can buy a municipality for the company. So we never found your concept when I heard it.
Thank you. There is a report in the agenda, so under public input, we can't debate or other than ask for clarification. So thank you for your presentation, and there is a report in the agenda. Thank you. That's it for now.
Sorry, Kristen, there's nothing coming through. Whatever's going on. It's not coming through on YouTube.
We're having microphone problems, I think, Mike.
Yeah,
Sorry, Ruth. Go ahead.
sorry, but if I don't hear it, nobody else is either online.
Can you hear it now, Mike?
Not sure if someone's speaking.
I can hear you and Eric, but I cannot hear the speaker who's speaking.
Okay, well, we just changed microphones, so let's
Not
try,
making
go
any
ahead.
difference. So people out there are not hearing what she's saying.
Can you can't hear the speaker at all? You can hear me though.
I can hear you, but I can't hear this. I can hear you, but I cannot hear the speaker for
Okay.
public input.
Okay, let's try this one. Okay. Echo. Okay. So good afternoon. In reference to the discussion
Good.
from our May 19th, June 2nd, and tonight's agenda regarding the congestion at the end of Booster Park Road, I want to add a perspective that I think is important to keep in mind when considering the next steps. This issue is highly seasonal. It occurs for roughly 4 to 6 weeks each year during the peak tourist period. Outside of that short window, there is very little traffic in that area and is manageable. Because of that, I would ask council to be cautious about considering solutions that could result in significant or ongoing cost to taxpayer for what is essentially a temporary seasonal issue. What I have been observing is that the park itself has not become significantly busier over the years. Instead, what seems to have changed is the ability for vehicles to safely pull off the road. While the recent paving is a positive improvement, the depth of the roadside ditching appears to be creating an unintended problem. In some areas, it's quite deep, and vehicles cannot fully pull off the road without risk of damage underneath the car. There's plenty of room to get to the fence, but they can't get to the fence. As a result, people are parking less effectively and congestion is building up along the roadside. From what I can see, this is less about increased demand and more about a physical design issue along the shoulder of the road. Not that I know anything about roads, but as a potential low-cost solution, it could be as simple as bringing in gravel to build up the edge of the ditch while still allowing proper drainage underneath. This would allow vehicles to safely pull fully off the road. In addition, clear signage such as angle parking only could help standardize parking and improve the flow. Plus, a sign on top of the hill, children playing, put that at the top of the hill to slow down as they're coming down. In my view, this type of adjustment would directly address the root cause without requiring a major infrastructure project, especially for something that is only presents itself during a short tourist period. As Councillor Dowst mentioned in the last meeting, that if the request that has been paused was postponed until the fall, when the seasonal pressure is gone, there would likely be very little impact. In closing, this is a short-term seasonal problem with what appears to be a simple and cost-effective solution. I would encourage council to focus on addressing the physical constraint rather than committing to a larger expenditure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ruth. Anyone have any questions
Any
for Ruth?
questions?
Okay, thanks, Ruth. Thanks. Are we okay? Could you hear that, Mike?
We could hear it.
Okay, thank you.
That was perfect.
Next on the agenda is adoption of the minutes. Recommendation that the foregoing minutes of the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmor Lake held Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026 be approved as presented. I have a mover and a seconder, Eric and Ron. Any comment on those minutes? Or changes? All in favor? That's carried. Staff reports. Request for reduction of taxes. The recommendation is that council receive the request for reduction of taxes for 45 McGregor Lane report dated June the 16th, 2026, and further that council approve the request of Daniel Rothi and Chantel Surois for a reduction of taxes for the years 2025 and 2024 in the total amount of $1,160.17 for 45 McGregor Lane as per section 358 of the Municipal Act 2001. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Eric, second Ron. Any comments or on that report? Eric?
Hello? Yep. Okay, just for clarification, so 26 going forward has been dealt with, is that correct, through the chair?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow, yes. The homeowner had done a request for 357 through MPAC, and that was granted.
Anything else? Any other questions? Comments? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Next is council vacancy, the clerk's report. And the recommendation is that council accept this declaration of and options for council vacancy report dated June the 16th, 2026. That council declare one councillor office previously filled by Councillor Lakatos vacant for the council of the municipality of Marmorant Lake. And further that council direct staff to proceed with option one to fill the vacancy council office by appointing a candidate from the 2022 municipal election. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron and Eric. Any comments or questions on that? Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I just totally agree with this option as our choice as staff is recommending here. It's the most democratic, certainly, of all the options, and it allows us to move forward in a timely fashion. So in full support of that recommendation.
Thanks, Eric. Any other comments or questions on that report? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Next, the manager Parks and Recreation Facilities Arena Floor Replacement Tender. And the recommendation is that council accepts this removal, supply, and install of rubber flooring for Dr. Hamilton Crawford Memorial Arena report dated June the 16th, 2026. Further, that council award the contract to Advantage Sport to remove the existing flooring, supply and install new max floor plus 10 millimeters with 3 millimeters wear layer rubber flooring on the first floor of the arena. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron, second. Eric, any comments or questions? Jeff is here. Go ahead, Eric.
Through the chair to Jeff, what's the timing on this project going to be prior to the start of ice season? What do you expect for completion?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow, pending our approval tonight, the removal of the flooring is scheduled for late next week and installation to carry on the following week. So in a very timely fashion here.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on Jeff's report? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Next, another one from Jeff, Town Hall entrance repairs. Recommendation that council accept this Town Hall front entrance repairs report dated June the 16th, 2026. And further, that council direct staff to remove the existing staircase, replace the existing balcony, and conduct other remedial repairs to the front entrance to address its current needs while retaining the building and aesthetic moving forward. I have a mover and a seconder, Ron and Mike. Any comments or questions? Go ahead, Ron.
There we go. Just a question for Jeff. Jeff, can you make a comment on why these stairs deteriorated so quickly and how moving forward in the future, we will stop the remaining structure from doing that?
Through the chair to Councillor Derry. It is to my understanding, based on my staff's point of view and hearing over the course of the years how this has transpired, that within the last 10 years, the stairs were touched up and painted as need be yearly or bi-yearly. And then within the last five years, salt was applied to the stairs, just to the best of my knowledge, and therefore contributed to its deterioration.
Thanks, Jeff.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, through the chair to Jeff, thank you for the concern addressed to the historic nature and the historical significance and cosmetics of the building and maintaining the front doors. I know this is a very important building to the public, and as a counselor, I do hear a lot of feedback, the importance of that being maintained. So thank you to your attention for that. My question, however, is related to use during this period of construction. Can this be done without interrupting the use of the door below? Will there have to be a couple days where the door may not be open downstairs, or there be alternate arrangements? Consider what sections of the scope of work could be carried out while maintaining the accessible rampway rather than a staircase that could enter through that set of doors into the building. We would try to mitigate the amount of the days of welding and the risk to the public of hard class. We would try to do our best to keep that those constraints and that risk put within certain time frames. Try our very best to minimize business interruptions and protect the public. And the old stairs once removed, what happens to that material? Yeah, where that goes once that is cut out and removed. That would be up to whoever gets the contract to part of it. They can figure out the right way to haul it away. One. Okay. That is beyond my means to get. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything further on that? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you, Jeff. Next is the CAO's report regarding the Booster Park Road Allowance update. And the recommendation is the council receive the update request for temporary access Booster Park Road for boat launch report dated June the 16th, 2026. That council direct staff to pause discussions on opening up the Booster Park Road allowance, and further that council direct staff to develop a traffic strategy and parking plan for Booster Park and the surrounding area to be included in 2027 budget deliberations. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Eric? Second, Ron? Any discussion on that report? Eric, go ahead.
Through the chair to John, in your discussions with the proponent, has there been any further discussion on use of Meg's Landing to put the barge in? That was a need that they did have. Are we gonna have to circle back to that should this request come forward again?
Sure. Through your chair to Councillor Dow, my discussions have been through correspondence with the proponent. She has since secured access through another private property, so there won't be need for opening up Booster Park. So the pause is basically canceled that way. But I did indicate and will get more information with respect to any of the logistics, any of the works that need to be done with respect to any assembling of material or dockage equipment for loading the barge. But that was something I will bring back to council once I have those details.
Thank you, John.
I meant more so at Meg's Landing. When they had presented originally, they spoke to needing to use the boat launch for a crane to put the barge in the water. Is that going to be done from the private property?
From my understanding, I've said to them that if they need to use Mag's Landing to come back to us with any details, that was what I was just responding to. The access for the other property, which was the original request for assembling equipment, loading, hoarding, that kind of construction material, that has been secured. So that request is off the table. They will get back to us if they do need to use Mag's Landing and any assemblage in order to launch that barge. But I will come back to council if that request comes forward. So the other part that's a pause that's changed since the report is it's now canceling. That's been withdrawn.
Thank you,
Thank you,
John.
Councillor.
Any other questions or comments? Being none, all in favor? Carried. Next, CAO status update for June 2026. The recommendation is the council receive the CAO status update June 2026 report dated June 16th, 2026 for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Eric, second, Ron. Any questions or discussions on that report? Go ahead, Eric.
Through the chair to John, if I could get you just to expand on the EV charger. There's some brief notes here in your report. Can you expand on that project, where we're at and what the holdup has been per your notes?
Sure. So what I can do is give you an update as of the report, and probably either Nancy or Jeff can provide a more timely response in terms of some email communication in the last day or so. So in discussing and following up again with Jewel in terms of putting the charges forward, there had been a delay with respect to access to electricity. There's a decision made to be doing directional drilling, which was to happen last week. My understanding is once they got on site, they found bedrock and it became much more complicated, so they had to stop that. Backing on to that, there was the idea of where the source of electricity was going to come from, whether it was a transformer or another pole, and the costs associated with that. So I think they've looked at the idea of directional drilling being the cheapest and most cost-effective way of doing that, until they got to the point where they've now had some issues with respect to direct drilling. My understanding is the timing, as they did some work, ran into trouble and have put that on delay for a couple of weeks. But perhaps either Jeff or Nancy can add the most recent wrinkle into that.
Thanks, John. Whose microphone's working?
Do you want to?
So Nancy, you're going to speak to this
Mhm.
issue?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow. We did receive an email today from the company that's putting in the EV chargers. And John touched on this already. Last week they were there. They were drilling. They went through 4 drill bits with bedrock and couldn't get through. So they will have to come back. It sounds like they're going to have to dig a trench in order to get the hydro there, but it is delayed because they had scheduled work for the next few weeks somewhere else. So they'll be back in a few weeks.
Go ahead, Eric.
And the revenue that we're collecting for the parking spot, does that begin once the chargers are operational?
Through the chair to Councillor Dow. Once they're up and operational and people are using them, then yes.
Thanks, Nancy. Anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Committee and board reports. Marmor Agricultural Society, declaration of municipal significance request for a food festival. And the recommendation is that council provide direction to staff. Can I get a mover and a seconder?
Well, there needs to be a motion.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. you want to make a motion?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that the municipality of Marmora Lake declare the Marmora Fair Boards Food Festival of municipal significance.
Get a seconder for that motion, Ron? And anyone want to speak to the motion? All in favor? That's carried. Central Hastings Support Network minutes of April 30th, 2026. The recommendation is that council receive the minutes for information. I get a mover and a seconder. I get a mover, Mike, second, Ron? Any comments or questions? All in favor? That's carried. Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, June 2026 newsletter. And the recommendation is that council receive the newsletter for information. And I get a mover and a seconder for that. Eric, second. Ron, any comments or questions? All in favor? That's carried. Building Inspection Services Board, May 2026 report. And recommendation is that council receive the report for information. Get a mover and a seconder. Ron, second. Eric, any comments or questions? All in favor? That's carried. Marmora Crow Valley Lions Club, the road closure request for the Canada Day Parade. Recommendation is that council approve the request of the Marmora Crow Valley Lions Club to permit the Canada Day Parade to follow its usual route on Wednesday, July 1st, 2026, beginning at 10 a.m. at the fairgrounds. That council direct the Lions Club to notify emergency services of all associated road closures. And further, that the Lions Club be required to provide the appropriate insurance certificate to staff for $5 million liability with the corporation of the municipality of Marmora Lake listed as an additional insured prior to the event. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Ron? Second, Mike. Any comments? Questions? All in favor? That's carried. Bylaw number 2026-37, Restricted Acts Lame Duck Delegation Bylaw. And the recommendation is that bylaw 2026-37 being a bylaw to authorize delegated authority during the restricted acts in brackets lame duck period of council during the 2026 municipal election be read and passed the 16th day of June 2026. And I have a mover and the seconder for that bylaw. Eric, second, Mike. Any comments, questions? All in favor? That's carried. Bylaw 2026-38, Agreement and Transfer Authorization Bylaw. And the recommendation is that bylaw 2026-38 being a bylaw to authorize the disposition and transfer of the land operated by the Centre and South Hastings Waste Services Board, and for which title is registered in the name of the municipality of Marmora Lake as to its respective share, be read and passed the 16th day of June 2026. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Mike, second. Eric, any comments or questions on that bylaw? All in favor? That's carried. Announcements. Anyone have any announcements? Go ahead, Eric.
The fire department is hosting their annual open house. It's barbecue, there's lots of kids activities. Testing.
Yeah, they can.
Reminder to the public that this Saturday, the 20th, from 9 to 3, the fire department is hosting their annual open house. There's a barbecue, lots of kids activities. It's a great day to go out and check out the full Marmora Lake Fire Department fleet of trucks and get some hands-on, as well as meet all the fire department staff and volunteers. If weather permits, from 9 till 12, there's also going to be hot air balloon rides by donation, which is sponsored by Kim Aldred and Remax Realty.
Thanks, Eric. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. We're going to convene into closed session. And the recommendation is the council proceed into a closed meeting session at 6:10 PM under the Municipal Act 2001, Section 239(2). A, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board regarding the BISB Shared Services Agreement. And B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And D, labor relations or employee negotiations regarding department update. And I have a mover and a seconder to convene into close. Eric and Ron, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you.